All right, shalom, most high and Christ bless. Happy Sabbath to everybody tuning in across the globe. All praises to the most high in Christ. We made it to another Sabbath. Of course, that is not a light statement nowadays, but all praises to the most high for allowing us to have another Sabbath to look into our people and look into ourselves and to really dissect and examine the ills and the perils of our people. If you are listening to tonight's topic, all right, make sure that you have a 1611 King James Bible somewhere via electronic on your phone. If you can pull it out of your cabinets, dust it or whatever, however you got to do, make sure you have a 1611 King James Bible with you, because the truth is written within these scriptures on how we need to get ourselves back together. And when I say our, of course, I'm talking to you so-called blacks and you so-called Hispanic natives whose fathers of Negroid and of Indian descent scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And we're going to prove some things tonight. We got some clips for y'all. And we're going to prove some things. Shouldn't be too long tonight, but we do have some clips. Tonight's topic, shattered in pieces. Shattered in pieces. All right? So, yeah, shattered into pieces. This nation of ours, it just over and over again, week in and week out, what we have seen, okay, in the media, in our communities, literally on the streets, what we have seen is the consistent perilous state of our people. And listen, we've asked this question for many years. What is the solution to our problems? Like, how can we fix what we're in? And the first thing is in our minds. The very first thing we have to do is come to an agreement within our minds to understand that we are the chips are stacked up against us, and that we are in a system that God did not say was for us. Let me say it slow. We're in a system that God did not say is for us. The Bible tells you in Revelation 18 to come out of her, my people. Come out of what? It's showing you Babylon the Great, but it's an ideology. Babylon means confusion. So we're in the midst of all of these places, and all of these places have God's chosen people in the midst of confusion. Confused identity, number one. Confused to how you're supposed to live with each other, number two. Confused on the state of who is oppressing you. All kind of things. But more importantly, confused in how we should deal with each other. All right? So the Bible shows the conduct through Christ, how we supposed to return, how we supposed to deal and everything. But you're going to realize some things. I'm going to point some stuff out in this. I want to actually open up with a video. Give me the Florida man shoots and kills father of underage girl. I don't know if I'm going to run the whole thing, but I want y'all to listen to it up to a certain point, and then I'll tell you to stop. Yep.
Let me introduce you to Raul Rodriguez and take you back to about January the 20th of this year. The Sheriff's Office received an investigation tip out of Orlando that there was a 16 or 17-year-old girl that was possibly engaged in consensual sexual conduct with Raul. An investigation began. What we learned is between September of last year and December of last year, a 16-year-old girl who then turned 17 was having a relationship with Raul, who was 31. Of course, that's against the law. So we began an intensive investigation only to have the 17-year-old victim and the mother refuse to cooperate. We made at least 5 contacts between the mother and the child to try to get them to cooperate in the investigation of where Raul was the suspect.
Pause it real quick. Pause the video. First of all, I seen parts of it. You gotta think about this. Right now, let's look at it for what it's worth according to the Bible. A grown man is supposed to be 20 years old, and a woman's supposed to be 20. So already off the bat, you could see there's some situations going on which is outside the scope of what God said, how God said things should be. So now you're going to put yourself in chaos. But I want to get to the part, I want to see if y'all pick up on something in this. Because already that's out of order. But the whole situation, as you listen to this press conference, the whole situation is out of order. Watch.
The victim, the 16 and 17-year-old child, met Raul through her dad because Raul was the dope dealer to her dad. It was alleged as part of the investigation that not only was she having consensual sex with Raul, but he was providing drugs to her as well as to her father. As time went on, there determined to be a conflict that grew in anger between Raul and our deceased victim today. Our deceased victim today was the father of the 17-year-old girl who was having consensual sex in a relationship with her father's drug dealer, as it's reported to us. So now let's get just before 6 a.m. this morning. Raul, who lives 2 streets over, walked into the home and into the bedroom where our victim was laying, holding what's reported to be a sawed-off 20-gauge shotgun. And he orders him to the living room. There was a female witness in that bedroom and saw Raul take our victim out of the bedroom at gunpoint. She heard arguing in the living room, and then she heard a gunshot. Raul then is beginning to walk out of the house, and he sees the witness. And he said words to the fact that, "Keep my name out of it," as he walked out of the house and back to his home, which is about 2 streets away. Of course, 911's called. Our deputies are there literally in minutes. We set up a perimeter. We launched aviation. And what we saw from the air with our aviation unit was a suspect of Raul's description leaving one house, going to another house.
All right, pause it.
We learned that was his
Pause
mother's
it.
house.
What I wanted to show out of that, you can come off of it. I can't hear it fully on my end. But what I wanted to show out of that is that the mother and the daughter was the ones that didn't want to cooperate in the investigation or anything. So the mother and the daughter, the mom didn't see anything wrong with that guy Raul seeing that little girl. She didn't see anything wrong with it. She basically, they were both was like trying to conceal it, saying that they're not going to help with the investigations or anything. I wanted to show this because this goes to show you the grand scheme of how when you start to see wickedness start to overflow, people don't have a sense of right or wrong. Just their sense of being right and wrong is just totally off the scale. And in that press conference, I'll try to put the link up, but in that press conference later on, once again, he makes the comment, if they had cooperated, that man would not have been killed, because that guy who's selling drugs, not only to the father, selling it to the daughter, the mom. He just selling drugs to him and sleeping with the 17-year-old. They was building an investigation to bring him in. This is where wickedness is at. So all the way around, from the sheriffs, from him, the family, all of that whole scenario was a powder keg, because judgments in this country and wherever the world is at is off. They don't have righteous judgments. Had you looked at that instantaneously and saw that was bad, I don't need to build no case. Right. We already done seen it. Now, the Bible, where the Bible comes in at, is it tell you 2 or 3 witnesses. Right. Now that matter can be judged. Versus them, they building up a court case. While they did that, while they're doing that, instantaneous, this man walks in there and sawed off pumps him, kills the dad. So I wanted to show that real quick because it just show you the lawless behavior of our people and how things are transpiring, okay? Let's open up with the book of Baruch chapter 3. The book of Baruch chapter 3. And we're going to start at verse 1.
All right. Shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless everybody. Happy Sabbath to all. The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Come on.
O Lord, Almighty, God of Israel.
O Lord, Almighty, God of Israel. Come on.
The soul in anguish.
The soul in anguish. This is what's happening to our people right now. If you don't realize, our souls are in anguish. All right? The soul in anguish. Read.
The troubled spirit.
The troubled spirit. Read.
Crieth unto thee.
The troubled spirit cried unto thee. All this stuff is bothersome. When you look at the plight of our people, we were just talking about it. Mm-hmm. We have zero respect. Respect and integrity goes a long way. All right? But code of conduct, the ethics that the Bible is teaching, people are pushing it to the side nowadays. And they're living based upon their own minds, what they feel respect is. It's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Read on.
Verse 2. Hear, O Lord, and have mercy, for thou art merciful.
Come on.
And have pity upon us.
And have pity upon us. Come on.
Because we have sinned before thee.
That's the whole thing, because we have sinned before thee. So if you're in situations, these situations can turn life or death instantaneously, no matter what it is. A little kid was out there selling the iPhone. Harmless. Killed. Somebody was pumping gas at the gas station, getting ready to go out on a nice evening of anniversaries. Boom, dead. Somebody was standing trying to cross the street. Gun shots ring out, dead. A little kid was sitting in the car eating a lollipop. Somebody jumps off a bridge, kills themselves and them. All of these things is ramming up. It's just happening over and over. But the Israelites are not paying attention. Because the primary people that's happened to is us. Mm-hmm. Read on.
Verse 3. For thou endurest forever.
We need that mercy. Come on.
And we perish utterly.
And we perish. The Most High going to endure forever, but we perish utterly. Come on.
Verse 4. O Lord Almighty, thou God of Israel.
Keep saying that, thou God of Israel. We don't know who we are, so we're lacking in returning back to our power. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites.
Come on.
And of their children.
Well, the dead Israelites, remember, we have an example of Lazarus and the rich man. So from the grave, what you going to say? You can only got to answer to the Most High. Mm-hmm. So it's showing you here the prayers of the dead Israelites and their children. You know, Israelites perished, even when we read in the Maccabees, all on the Sabbaths and everything. Yep. The nation has been getting been underneath anguish for a very long time. And we're not learning how to come together. Had the nation came together underneath the Maccabees, and we called all our brethren home, we number the sands of the sea, no one would be able to attack us.
Nope.
Read on.
Which have sinned before thee,
Uh-huh.
and not hearkeneth unto the voice of thee their God.
So, matter of fact, let me show y'all something. Give me I'm gonna show y'all a couple clips. Give me the United Nations clip. I hope we can hear it. Yep. I ain't gonna play the whole thing. I'm just skip through. I'm gonna show a couple clips.
They dance to the beat of the African drum, deep in the forest, mimicking a disappearing species that they've grown to love, the Asiatic lion. They're part of the 20,000 Siddhis, an ethnic group of African descent who live in Gujarat, Western India. Though far removed from their ancestral lands, the Siddhis have cherished their culture. Now
Pause.
it's a source of
Now you see where, for us being in the midst of sin, we're scattered everywhere. These same people was taken from Europe, western banks of Africa, all right, from all over parts, and brung to different places. This is India, folks. And as you can see, we're still tap dancing, and we're still putting on shows. We do that everywhere we're at. Everywhere we're at, we going to tap dance, and we're going to put on shows. But we will not have the mind to return back to the Most High. Not now. But watch this. It's coming. Play it.
income for them.
कहीं होटल होता है पहले हमने 1500 से स्टार्ट किया तो इसमें से रोज का 2-3
Pause.
सीजन होता है तो
We go to the hotel to dance for the tourists during the prime season. This is India. They're doing this. Earning a living, dance. Come on.
6 प्रोग्राम रहता है तो उसमें 1 आवर का खेल रहता है.
Imran is a Siddi, a descendant of the Bantu people from southeast Africa.
There you go.
He believes his
Bantu
ancestors
people.
originally came from Uganda. Now
He's
he lives in a
lost.
small village called Jambor with his mother and grandmother. The village is surrounded by the forest of Gir, the last bastion of the world's 500 remaining Asiatic lions. Centuries ago,
Pause. I bet you they'll protect those wildlife lions more than they protect them.
Africans from Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Somalia sailed to the Indian subcontinent as merchants, while others were brought as slaves. The
Pause.
cities say
You hear how they broke it down? Listen carefully, y'all, because they're telling you pieces of history. Some of the people that they're considering Africans went there by their own choice, and they was living. Because you got to realize something. Even the people who you are calling Africans or being in these other nations, Ethiopians or whatever, they know we're different. So they got to be free. But not us, not our people. Pay attention to what's said. Go ahead.
they were an elite group of slaves serving the ruling class only.
Back it up 10
Others were
seconds.
sailed to the Indian subcontinent as merchants, while others were brought as slaves. The cities say they were an elite group of slaves serving the ruling class only.
Pause. They were a elite group of slaves. It's code word. We can only take these people right here who they might call Bantu or whatever, really it's the Israelites who were being hunted even in Europe and fleeing into Africa and being taken by the Ottoman Turks and everything else and scattered throughout as an elite group of slaves. Code word. We know that we can take these people right here because they have a curse of God on them. All right? They wasn't ignorant that God curses was following us. We're going to prove all that. But play.
Because of their loyalty and military skills, they were favored by India's Nawabs,
Now-
or Muslim rulers,
Pause.
and the Mughal.
Y'all got to realize something. If we so elite in military, how are we getting taken in as slaves or whatnot? What they're showing you is hand-to-hand combat, physical strength, fighting. They show you that all in nowadays what they call sports. They always show us elite in those activities, hand-to-hand fighting and stuff like that. So if you really look at the artwork, you see all dark people mixed in with these Elamites, East Indians, all right? Persians, East Indians. We're going to prove some other stuff, but pay attention. Go ahead.
A Muslim imperial power in the early 16th century.
You hear that?
Cities rose to positions
Pause.
of
Oh,
power
I want you to see that. Back it up for a second.
early 16th century.
Look at this.
The cities rose to
This is how Jakes love to be fresh in whatever environment they will put themselves in. They're going to try to be the freshest. That's why some of you brothers who try to hold on to Islam, this is telling you were slaves underneath that. Straight up, if you holding on to that. But look how we trying to be, as being slaves and being oppressed, look how we would try to still be the freshest of the fresh. Yeah, got their garbs on. All right? Y'all got to really pay attention, and even the color way that they're using, all right? This color scheme is show you that they're in idolatry, all right? Some of them will rock the jade and everything else to try to say that they're blessed. This is when you start to understand other religions, okay? It's not necessary to understand it, but it's necessary to know what our people was doing, okay? Go ahead.
positions of power, serving as kings themselves over
Serving-
princely
pause.
cities.
Serving as kings, once again, get brung in as slaves, and then here's some authority, here's some high life status. Meanwhile, you see them still dancing in the dirt. Here's some high life status. Meanwhile, you got the rest of your people dancing in the dirt and sound familiar. Get them off of there. Give me a CGTN. Now, I have a book with all of these different histories of mankind, the indigenous people and stuff. I haven't brought it out yet. But at the end of the day, when you start to read about it, you start to see all these things happening. And you're going, why, how did our people even fall for this stuff? It's the same way we're falling in traps today. We are not building anything. We're not gathering. We're not coming together underneath the Most High. So it lends us to be anything in any doctrine and any scope of mind, and that's what's destroying us. The way we think as a nation of people is destroying us 100%. Run it. So that was East India, right? That was in India.
A hidden culture far from the high rises, pollution, and traffic jams of capital Tehran. 500 years ago, Portuguese traders brought thousands of Africans to Hormozgan province, located in southern part of what was known then as Persia. Most were sold to other countries, but some stayed in Iran.
Still dancing. Listen carefully.
Deeply rooted in Africa, Afro-Iranians' culture, especially the music, is vividly present whether in celebrations or funerals.
مخصوصا توی موزیک و مراسماشون دیگه
Music is right there in their daily lives, African style. They don't even have to tell you, it's just so obvious.
Pause. You hear that? Like, you don't even need to, I don't even have to tell you who I am. It's just so obvious, that vibration, that rhythm, that the vibe that our people are putting off. They're like, we just know that they're different. But look, how come I'm showing y'all this for a reason. I'm showing you all these cultures right now to show you we're doing the same thing and we're subverted in the same mind state. In all nations, all right? I'm showing you overseas right now, but you can see this pan out over here, from Canada all the way down to South America. Watch this, come on.
Kamran Haidari is an Iranian filmmaker who spent over a year in this community, making a documentary called Dingo Maro, named after a wild African wind. Dingo Maro has a significant meaning in their culture. Afro-Iranians believe this wild wind is present wherever music is being played.
Get them off of there. You see the problem? Another idolatry. Don't realize you are trapped in the ideology, and therefore you don't even have your own place. You don't have nothing. But yet you holding on to some type of ideology that's fictitious. What sense does that make? When I play music, they're bringing in the wind. Give me DW. I'm going to show you. Bear with us tonight. Bear with us tonight. We're showing some points. Come on.
On his way to work, Yalcin Yannick stops by to check on the Syrian refugee families in the neighborhood and ask them how they're doing and if they need anything. They call him Yalcin Abi, Brother Yalcin. Yannick is Turkish, but in his hometown, Izmir, he's often himself taken for a refugee. Specifically, he's an Afro-Turk, a descendant of African slaves brought here in the mid-19th century by the Ottoman Empire.
Pause. An Afro-Turk brung in the 19th century by the Ottoman Empire. All right, the Ottoman Empire lasted a very long time, and that's where how you got a lot of our people scattered everywhere because of those Ottoman Turks bringing everybody from one place to another. Listen, if we can never stress enough to you folks, pay close attention to what you're seeing, because this stuff right here, they're not telling us this. But guess what? Some of these people over there is related directly to you. You have family members scattered all over this place, and you don't even know it. And a lot of us, we had a discussion last week in regards to blood types and stuff. Them hiding people's blood types and everything. Our people hiding it, because if you then start bringing that stuff out, you're gonna see.
Because even like my blood type, it goes back to the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of us. That's how So when people tell you your blood don't matter, that's crazy. They say, "Oh, you guys know it's the Mediterranean." So I mean, hey, we're living here in America. How can you trace that back like that?
Exactly. Play on. It's crazy.
On the streets and even in his own leather workshop, he's been called black in a derogatory manner, or Arap, Turkish for Arab.
Please rewind it for somebody that might have missed
By the
it.
Ottoman Empire, a descendant of African slaves brought here in the mid-19th century by the Ottoman Empire. On the streets and even in his own leather workshop, he's been called black in a derogatory manner, or Arap, Turkish for Arab.
You hear that? Even if saying Arab, pause it. Calling a person an Arab, we've been trying to say that. That means mingled people. The Bible show you that. Arab means mingled people. So you calling a person an Arab, that don't mean nothing. You call him an Ishmaelite, they know. Yep. All right? But they calling him black. They using derogatory terminologies to this man. He doesn't even realize who he is. This is in the Turkish folks. So I'm showing the reason why I'm showing this to y'all is because you start to get a greater sense of how far of a hole we're dug in. Get him off of there. Let's go back to Baruch. We dug in deep, man. So, and then make no mistakes. Our ancestors were killed, raped, murdered, and robbed, and stolen, and spoiled, and everything else in these countries, and they're still going through it right now. That's the point. It's still happening. But all praises to the Most High. A lot of y'all are waking up. All right, a lot of y'all are waking up from all these little bitty nestle parts, and they hinder internet. What they do is they give them 3G, and because you're poor, you can't get the best internet. So we get messages like, hey, listen, we can't watch the videos fully. Can you send me notes? Because we don't have internet access. Let me say this to you folks. You can read this book all day long. The so-called white man gonna sit back and let you read that right now because we're destroyed as a people in our minds. But the minute you reach out and start to be tangible, we start putting together, we're going to put together an electric grid. We're going to put together to get our money up because we're going to put a satellite up there that's going to give internet. We're going to put our money up and we're going to build trains in these spots to get our people from point A to point B. Now you are a dangerous person to them. You're not dangerous just sitting there reading. No, this is the start of it to change your mind first. This is the start, okay? But as we start to make things tangible, when we can actually set programs up and do things, that's why Lord's will, we're releasing this blackout. All right, we're coming with something totally different. It's for right now. It's not no women, no children, no media, nothing. You ain't gonna know where we meeting at, any of that. But we want all our men. You black and Hispanic men, when it releases, I'm going to put it up. We want you to sign up because this is closed circuit. We need to discuss things. We got to have a discussion. Because if not, these people can't help us. Their judgment's not even righteous. I just saw a kid who was in 44 years ago. He was a teenager. He did armed robbery. And they gave him 241 years. That man has watched people who have murdered people come in and out. He's watched drug dealers come in and out. He's watched all kind of people come in and out. But they gave him a sentence like that. They're trying to do appeals, but it's falling on deaf ears. My point to this is that as men, we have to come together now, and we have to deem who's an enemy and who's not. Once we put this blackout tour thing together, this has to happen. We have to have a conversation as men for our nation. It can't be about anybody else. We're not worried about nobody else. We have to have that heart-to-heart conversation. And then while we're saying blackout is because when you don't want to participate in this, we're going to deem you an enemy. We're not using you. We're not participating in nothing you're doing because you don't care about your people. It's coming. It's coming. All right. Be ready. We keep saying it. We keep saying things are being put together. But now when it starts to happen, know what's going on. All right. We have to have that conversation, and we can't have anybody else in there lobbying for their businesses or whatever their mind state is. This is exclusively about the nation. The men needs to take control. We're tired of looking like peons. We're tired of being disrespected and everything else. We got to come underneath the first base foundation. All right. It's a different time right now. But read on.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 4. O Lord Almighty,
come on,
thou God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites,
come on,
and of their children, which have sinned before thee,
come on,
and not hearkeneth unto the voice of thee, their God, for the which cause these plagues cleave unto us.
They cleave unto us because of this. So if we know this, we know how to get these plagues off of us. Come on, watch this.
Remember not the iniquities of our forefathers.
Allow us to repent because he's merciful. Come on.
But think upon thy power and thy name now at this time.
Come on.
For thou art the Lord our God.
Our God. Come on.
And thee,
Come on.
O Lord,
Come on.
will we praise.
We're going to return back. We're going to return back. We have our code. We have our laws. We don't need these. We don't need this law. We have our laws
to govern us.
to govern our people. Read on.
Verse 7. And for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts.
Come on.
To the intent that we should call upon thy name.
That's what's happening on the earth now. The real Israelites, the Lord has put the fear in the hearts, the minds, to say we got to return back. Come on.
And praise thee.
Where?
In our captivity.
In our captivity. We're in captivity right now, and he's put it in our minds to return back to him. Read on.
For we have called to mind all the iniquity
Come on.
of our forefathers that sinned before thee.
Come on.
Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
We are yet this day in our captivity. Right now. Read.
Where thou hast scattered us.
Have scattered us. Come on.
For a reproach.
Ridicule. Come on.
And a curse.
Come on.
And to be subject to payment.
Subject to payment. Underline that. Come on.
According to all the iniquities of our fathers.
You know what's funny? Give me they just had the G7. We was talking about it.
I bet you nobody was no one of our nation was in that.
Oh, we're going to pull it up. Give me the clip. Give me the G7. Let's find out. Let's go to Bloomberg. And why Bloomberg got it. Follow the money, y'all. Before you run that. Run it. Watch this. Pause. Look at this. So, please tell us where we're represented at right here as a nation of people. We'll wait for you to put it in the comment boards, and we're waiting for somebody to say, you know what? We're represented by Joe Biden. Well, who's representing the Afro-Iranians? Where's Haiti at in this? What is this G7? Give me get these crazy folks off of there. They think they're ruling the world right now. They have a hold on it for this small moment. But when the God set forth in the house, when he pours out that spirit, it's gonna be it's over with. You know, go to Google and put in G7. What is the role of the G7? Show it to the people. What is the role of, type it in. What is the role of G7? There's 7 countries supposed to be, huh? Oh, there it is right there. The major purpose of the G7 is to discuss and sometime act in concert to help resolve global problems. Oh, so they're going to tell you how to fix your problems. With special focus on economic issues. The money. The monetary systems, yeah. Since its inception in the early 1970s, the group has discussed financial crisis, monetary systems. You know they're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. You know they're talking about that. And major world crises such as oil shortages. Let me say this to y'all folks. Type in who's in the G7. Group of 7. I can tell you right now who's in it. Type that in there for them. So here's the thing. Cryptocurrency, right? If we start to look at that, that's they call that also liberation currency. Because you now move off of the platform in which they're telling you have to use, and then you can now exchange those cryptocurrencies for goods and services. And it's done by completely online, and it's done by contracts, which gives out a hash that can never be duplicated or re-put in again. It's called SHA-256. All right. And the way that is resolved is through those contracts and blockchain technology. I'm not going to go into that because it has to be, that's going to be in our blackout. Because what we could do, I'm going to be honest with y'all, this is very dangerous, what we're talking about, because we're taking the power from them instantaneously. But what we could do is form our own cryptocurrency. You're wrapped at that point. In a sense, the reason why it would halt in a sudden failure on us is because you don't control the system. So when it's time to buy something this man can sanction, you can't buy food with cryptocurrency. Yep. Now you're screwed. So we're showing you the level of what it has to get to where ultimately it's going to cause a war, this money crisis. Go ahead. What does it say to G7? Who's in it? Let me see. It's the group of 7, G7. It's an informal group of 7 countries. The United States, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the United Kingdom. The heads of which hold an annual summit with European Union, which is known as the EU, and other invitees. You can't even make this stuff up. We're not going off course. If we start going to the horns and the 7 heads, and it's going to show you that they have set up their own system, simply put. All right. But the Most High has other plans. All right. We can see it clearly. But what's happening is we are getting a dose of how we need to return before anybody else. So if we can get our minds together first and understand how we can get a hold of our nation to get the message out to return back to commandments, that's the key. That's right. If anybody really truly want to know, we can return back to God's commandments and it can solve our problems 100%. Because God's commandments have judgments in it. See, they cry about that.
See, when you jump into verse 9.
Mm-hmm. Let's read all the way down.
Because what you just said, I mean, we're going to read verse 8 again. Because basically what you just said is basically what this next scripture is going to say. Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payment according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom.
Underline that. Give ear to understand wisdom. Because these nations looking at us, we're simple. Yep. Matter of fact, hold that. We come right back. Go to Deuteronomy 4 and 6. Yep. That's supposed to be how our wisdom's supposed to be in the sight of the nations, right? Let's go there. Deuteronomy 4 and verse 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Keep therefore and do them.
Matter of fact, you can start up.
Okay. Verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Come on.
Keep therefore and do them.
Statutes and judgments. Come on.
For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great? Who hath God so nigh unto them? As the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for.
Right. So this shows you that if you understand the statutes, the judgments, come back to the commandments, we can then clean the nation up quickly. It could be done very quickly. All right. We could get on one accord. We know what God said, what his judgments are. You're understanding like, hey, listen, you can't operate like this, because if you do, we got to go to God, what God said, how he said judgments. And now we do judgment, mercy, and fate. because we add that faith in there and that mercy of Christ. Somebody might not understood. Somebody might have not understand the process. They could go, we can hear that out and say, okay, let's see where your understanding at. Based upon that, we can determine if mercy needs to be applied because of ignorance. It's still no excuse, but we can understand. But on certain high levels, when that happens, we got to return back to God's judgments. This place ain't doing it. And that's why we keep saying, if the so-called white man just took a step back and went, y'all do your own judgments. Who will do the judgment? Nobody's never answered that question. Nope. If the so-called white man, wherever the Israelites are at, if they took a step back and say, listen, we not governing y'all on judgments no more. Y'all do whatever y'all got to do with the nation. Okay, who's going to do the judgments? Who gonna be the police when a call comes through, such as Rick and them out here shooting? They was drinking, they drunk, everything. We need somebody to come here and help. Who's gonna do that? I'll wait. Who's gonna know how to operate in that junction right there, that box? See how far underneath and the boot is on our neck?
Because we always say this, and again, if I may, I want to make a statement. Let's say we do get our land. Now, I say our land. Let's say they allot us some land. Let's say, you know how we always, people keep saying we want to be sovereign, we want to have our land, right? Okay, now answer me this. Okay, let's say we get our land. Let's just deal with Israel. You got some people that believe in multiple wives. There's some people believe in this, believe in that. That's chaos. Then let's just get outside of Israel. This brother believes in Islam, Christianity. This other brother believes in, okay, let's just stay the same as America. So you got all this stuff going on. Something happens with judgment. Let's say someone commits adultery. How are we going to judge that matter? Because this person may believe, oh, we can't do it this way, we can't do it that way. But remember, we're supposed to be one people, and who's going to be in the military? Who's going to be the judge and jury? Who's going to do all? See, people can say all they want about getting your land. How in the world are you going to govern it righteously? Because you got all these different ideologies, all these different philosophies that people have. Our people now. I'm just dealing with our people. We got all this madness going on. How are we going to govern it? How? You have to come back to this, back to the godly judgment of the Most High and the holy government.
That's it, the holy government. And we keep telling y'all now what's happening is the Most High is showing that he's releasing more and more the angels, the chariots, and everything is releasing back on earth. There's reports now that, people are seeing things that, is way off the scope of knowing that what reality would be for us. And they're calling it some kind of counter space or some type of they saying that it's somewhere in between.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's what he's saying. It's somewhere in between. Yeah. But what's happening is, irregardless, folks, if you say to yourself, oh, I need to do this or not, there's something coming to the earth, and it ain't good. When that power unleashes to the earth, they have reports now with Esau is being allowed to pick up. He's picking up FM radio signals from outer space right now. Y'all can look it up. He's picking up signals now. All kind of things is happening. Yeah, FM signals. Those frequencies is being picked up, and they're trying to figure out, well, where's the stuff coming from? Well, we know they knew something previous because they set up Space Force. That ain't gonna help you. There's a technology that the man is telling you that there's a technology that just don't even apply to our general understanding of relativity or anything. So all these Edomite scientists that people think is so smart, they're baffled by their technology, the way that they understand mathematics, quantum, somewhat everything that they're looking at is primitive. That's at a child box level. The atomic level, atoms, proton, particle physics, all of that is at a minute level compared to what the Most High has. That's a minute level. That's a childlike level. And we put these people up as smart people. but they're playing in the sandbox. We've seen it for ourselves. So at the end of the day, it's nothing that can. If you go, I always tell people, if you take your car and you drive down the street and you hit dead brakes, inertia gonna make you go forward. These chariots is able to stop on a dime and accelerate from what they can clock beyond 46,000 times the speed of sound. 46,000 times the speed of sound. Yeah. I mean, they can't even gauge it. It disappears on them. All right. So keep fooling around if you want. There's a higher power coming to the earth. That's why we need to get ready. We need to start getting ourselves together. And the part of that is making sure that we come together as a nation of people using wisdom. That's the point. And the Most High put the spirit on us, especially you brothers and sisters who believe this. You don't have to believe this. We're just talking about this. We don't have to do this. We've been doing it day in and day out, week in and week out, every single day that we found out the truth. And ain't asking for nothing. So what is driving all the Israelites to do this? Y'all better pay attention. If you're tagged on this video, you better pay attention because somebody trying to save you and at least illuminate you. All right? Let's go back to Baruch. Verse 9.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 9. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom.
That will be you. Now you understand where our wisdom going to come from. Come on.
Verse 10. How happened it, Israel, that thou art in thy enemy's land?
How is it happening that we are in our enemy's land? How did this happen? Come on.
That thou art waxing old in a strange country.
In a strange waxing old. What y'all seen is from, hundreds and thousands of years ago, our people scattered in these countries. Why are we not realizing, hey, we all got took. We all need to come back together. How come we not realizing that? But what we're in, tap dance, boy. Dance, shoot the basketball, sing, do whatever you got to do. Why are we not realizing, okay, yeah, we doing that. Let's come together.
Yeah, let's use it as a means to use our platform to do what? To build our nation up.
Exactly.
Why not just do that?
Comfortable in captivity.
Yep.
That might need to be a topic.
Oh, man, that'd be great.
Come on.
That thou art defiled with the dead.
Defiled with the dead, meaning the people is in the congregation of the dead right now. Somebody who's not even thinking about the Most High. Come on.
Verse 11. That thou art counted with them that go down into the grave.
Come on.
Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom.
The fountain of wisdom. We've forsaken the understanding that we should be having in the laws in Christ. We're forsaking that because Christ is the fountain of wisdom. Come on.
Right. Verse 13. For if thou hadst walked in the way of God,
come on,
thou shouldest have dwelled in peace
forever.
That's
That's all we got to do. Walk in those ways. The young man, you're in inordinate affection. You didn't know the truth. We give you the truth. You go back to doing it. We got to now read what God says we have to do. If you're in bestiality, you're playing with animals, doing all kind of deeds like that, we show you this is not the way to be doing it. You get caught again, we got to do what God says to do. You go on the streets, you're being a beast man, you're murdering, shooting, doing all this stuff. We see you doing it. We let you know this is not the way. You know, you should know that. We're giving you the benefit of the doubt. We're giving you mercy.
Yep.
You shouldn't understand.
Yep.
You shouldn't be doing this, but we're giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
The next time you operate in such fashions, you got to go. We got to put evil away.
Because you're not going to be able to plead down to a lesser charge.
No.
Not in this justice system that we have set up. It's not going to work like that. See, that's the problem with this place. See, it's confusion, and the justice system is broken. It's broken for us, but it's always made for them. So therefore, what happens? They give them mercy, but give us hell.
The same. Remember, the Florida man who killed that same sheriff was up there earlier in the week, right? Remember with the look at the 16-year-olds, pull them back up. Show y'all something. Watch this.
Gentlemen, thank you for being with me today. Yesterday, we met in Gordon Heights early in the morning, and I introduced you to our victim, whose name I used because the family said we could, because they wanted us to do everything we could to arrest the perpetrators that shot and killed their 17-year-old son. Tiger was murdered on Monday evening at about 9:40 p.m. when he went on Dudley Street to the Gordon Heights Park, ostensibly to sell marijuana to some people. He was driving his 2017 maroon Chevy Silverado. He had a 19-year-old
Boss,
young
he
lady.
was trying to sell drugs, folks. He's trying to sell drugs. So this kid is trying to sell drugs. He's trying to make it say, well, he was trying to sell marijuana. He was selling drugs, all right? And it went bad. Watch this, though. Come on.
With him. And, you know, it's been reported in several of the social medias, oh, she was involved, she was involved. No, she was not involved at all, except that she was a victim. She went with him. He was there to sell marijuana when what it's reported to be at this point in the investigation now, four black males, approached the vehicle. They pulled both doors open, the front passenger, the front driver, and immediately started shooting. It was horrible. It was a setup. It was an ambush. Of course, the suspects fled on foot from the scene. We were notified.
Hold up. I hope y'all paying attention to what this dude just said. I hope y'all really paying attention to what this dude just said. It was a setup. He was out there. He was a dope dealer. All my years of living, I ain't never heard that. He was a dope dealer, man. It's free game out there in the streets. He should know better than that. People think we stupid. He was out there selling dope, and it was judgment. And what ended up happening was, when we in that dirty game like that, what you think gonna happen to you out there?
You don't know if he stole the drugs.
Right, you don't know what
nothing.
this man did. You know what I'm saying? You know the streets.
I mean,
come on, see, but you see how they have mercy for their own people? See, when it was us, you scum of the earth, or you a dope dealer, you a menace to society. He ain't say none of that. He said he was selling marijuana, trying to make it sound so eloquent. No, he was a dope dealer. Call it for what it is, man. The man was selling dope. Okay? Stop all these semantics. See, that's what I don't like about he saw something else with this stuff.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Watch though. Watch what he does.
Right.
Started our investigation. I think I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, our homicide team is simply the very best. In fact, in almost 13 years, we've only had 2 unsolved homicides, and this is now not one of the 2. We were able to make an arrest. Our homicide team developed information, and in less than 10 hours was knocking on the suspect's front door. The suspect lived with his grandmother and his father. One of our suspects is Javon Berrien Jr. We told you that we suspected that they were teenagers or very young adults, and sure enough, Javon is a Bartow High School student in 11th grade. And he was joined that night when they robbed by Margus Johnson. Margus Johnson is 16 years of age, and he's a Fort Meade High School.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold. Stop. They juveniles, right? Why are their names being put up there? Why and their faces being put up there? Why is that happening? See, because when it's other nations, they don't do that.
Remember the 12-year-old and
Right.
the girl and guy who's with the AK.
Right, with the AKs, you didn't put their faces up there. We just saw a video earlier where these two Edomites, straight white children, 12 and 14, shooting at the police. They didn't put their faces up there and use their names. You see how it's a double standard, brothers and sisters? You see how this stuff is set up? They don't mind putting us out there on display. They don't give a damn about whether they juveniles or not when it comes to us. But when it was them, and there's a video we're probably going to have to end up showing it, where the police officer, please don't make me do this. But when it comes to us, they don't even think twice.
Yep. And listen, the reason why they're doing this is because you got to realize the tactics. This is propaganda machine at its highest level.
Yep.
Because what we're going to show you is keep showing them evil. Keep showing them getting killed.
Yep.
Matter of fact, go to Judith 5. You know I want Judith 5. Let's start verse 1.
Yep.
This is a tactic that they know. Go to the book of Judith, chapter 5. In verse 1, it's a tactic that they know.
Yep. Because propaganda is a weapon, brothers and sisters. Because the media can make you or break you. It can make you to the villain. It can make you to a hero. They do it all the time. It's been used since the inception of journalism.
And for you men, you black and Hispanic men, man, you have not understood the level where you should try to don't bring shame on the nation. We don't understand that level. We're not going to bring shame to the nation. But you have all of these unruly kids, like the scriptures tell you, the women and the kids rule over us. If we open our mouth, they can call the police, and the police can come. They can have the right to execute you, put you out there in a bad light. All kind of stuff can happen. We are a nation of people, the men in this nation, that are so disrespected and put underneath the boot. You're lower than a roach.
Straight up.
And you still refuse to come together. Still refuse it. And guess what? Israel numbers the sands as a sea. So we actually can come back together. We can fix all this. This can be fixed. Simple as that. How the so-called white man said when 9/11 happened and all the other stuff was happening, how he fixed it. He went to war, didn't he?
Straight up.
He went to war, dropped bombs, care packages, everything.
And he didn't say, let's just forgive him. Let's just go give him a hug.
No.
He didn't do all that. He used his defense program. He called it defense for a reason. You do something to us, we're going to defend ourselves. What's the difference?
Yeah, but if someone do something to us, we can't defend ourselves.
Right.
You are relying on another nation to put forth judgments. It just doesn't work. So we have to have a system in place, which God gave us, which is this book. When we finally come back together underneath what God said for us to do, now there's a point in this book that's going to happen. And God is going to quickly send Christ. He got to quickly come because we made ourselves ready. He has to come now. The time is now. Come. So, but there's a statement that's made in the Bible. The Lord made it. He said, shall I find faith on the earth? Let's read. Watch this. Let me show you how they know things.
The book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then was it declared to Hophernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war, and had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the Champagne countries, wherewith he was very angry, and called all the princes of Moab and the captains of Ammon and all the governors of the seacoast.
So these generals, even like now, they call it campaigns. When they run war campaigns, they go into other countries and they set up their own agendas. Nobody's complaining about that. But watch this. Come on.
Verse 3. And he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country.
So you're trying to figure out who is this that dwell in the hill country. The hill country is, yeah, you guessed it, Jerusalem. Remember when you read in Luke, it say Mary made haste to the hill country? All right, come on.
What are the cities that they inhabit?
Uh-huh.
And what is the multitude of their army? And wherein is their power and strength?
Where's their power and strength? So everybody always look to that. Where's their mighty men? Where's their military? Where's their army? We don't have that, so you treat it like anything. Come on.
And what king is set over them?
Come on. Come on.
Or captain of their army? And why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west? Then said Achor.
See, Achor is smart. He's what you call a researcher. He's what you call what Esau do is when he come into the communities, he go, these people, they love fruity drinks. Also apply that to Swishers. Make sure their cigars is, you got grape flavor, apple, put all those flavors in there. All right. Oh, meanwhile, they're also poverty stricken. So put payday loan places there. They also are underneath extreme pressure. So they're going to need to drink to self-medicate. So put liquor stores in their area. Oh, they also going to be able, you're going to make money off of them. Make sure you have a couple pawn shops in the area. Oh, because they're so drunk and lawless, you're going to need a police officer, police station right there in their area. And because the police going to have to kill some of them, you're going to need, the hospitals and the morgues. You're going to need all that.
And then you're going to have to, and then on the other side of the tracks, you have to put a cemetery because you have some place to put the bodies.
And then because of this cycle, make sure you get the favorable media attention from the politics and in the matters, the politicians and everything. Make sure all that's favorable and set them drop down right in the middle of a war zone where you have no understanding that you just in a toilet bowl. So this Achor right here, he examined our nation. Watch what he says. Come on.
Then said Achor, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people.
So they show you how the nations come together, because what is Ammon? Right. It would be the Japanese people. Come on.
Which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant.
Come on.
This people are descended of the Chaldeans.
So they descended from the Chaldeans. So he know the history going back with Abraham, where Abraham comes from, Ur of the Chaldees. Come on.
And they sojourn heretofore in Mesopotamia,
which is Babylon. Come on.
Because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea.
Right. So watch this. Come on.
For they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia.
Come on.
And sojourned there many days.
So they left and sojourned there many days. Watch this. It's talking about Abraham now. How they would not follow the false gods. All right. Understand why. There's a reason why the Most High appears and be like, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There's a reason. They wouldn't want to follow these gods, these false idols. Come on.
Verse 9. Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned, and to go into the land of Canaan, and where they dwelt, and were increased with gold and silver, and with very much cattle.
So they came by the way of coming from the north through Mount Paran, and they came down into the land of Canaan. Come on.
Verse 10. But when a famine covered all the land of Canaan.
You see how this man pushing through our history like it's nothing?
Straight up.
Another nation pushing through the history like it's nothing. He knows something. Watch this. Come on.
They went down into Egypt and sojourned there, while they were nourished, and became there a great multitude, so that one could not number their nation. Therefore the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtlety with them.
Come
And
on.
brought them low with laboring and brick, and made them slaves. Then they cried unto their God, and he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plagues. So the Egyptians cast them out of their sight.
Come on.
And God dried the Red Sea before them, and brought them to Mount Sinai, and Casa Barnea.
Right, that's Kardash Barnea, but they're spelling it like this.
Okay, that's
in
what
there.
there. Yeah,
Yep.
okay, got it. Okay, and cast forth all that dwelt in the wilderness.
Come on.
So they dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and they destroyed. They destroyed by their strength all them of Escabon, and passing over Jordan, they possessed all the hill country.
So when they passed over Jordan, they possessed all the Jordan River. They possessed all the hill country. So coming in from Jericho, the city of palms, all the way in to Jerusalem. Watch this, y'all. Come on.
Verse 16, and they cast forth before them the Canaanite, the Pharisite, the Jebusite, and the Skiskimite, and all the Girgasites, and they dwelt in that country many days.
Many days. Come on.
And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered.
So when we wasn't in the midst of sin, we prospered. Watch this. Come on.
Because the God that hated iniquity was with them.
Come on.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore.
So we departed from the way. We departed from the commandments, the judgments, the statutes, and now all of a sudden we're overran with sin. But yet we have the audacity to try to go out and battle. The Lord is not with you.
Nope.
Watch this. Come on.
And were led captives into a land that was not there.
I'm gonna show y'all something. Go to what's happening in Haiti. Because Haiti is a prime example of us going out, trying to go out to battle, but it just never gonna prosper. They've been battling forever. Then I'm gonna ask a question. No, I'm gonna make a statement. They don't even need a question. I'm gonna make a statement. Play that. What would you do? Fast forward a little bit.
capital city of Port-au-Prince is home to more than 2 million people, spread out across dozens of neighborhoods divided by political and economic fault lines.
Pause. Number one, why things look the same? Because shouldn't the pull up how much the Red Cross got from Haiti? We did it before. I'm asking two or three things right now. Give me what the Red Cross supposedly had gotten for all the donations for the Haitian earthquake. And if y'all haven't paid, I'm going to ask this question. If y'all was paying attention, what is the key thing that comes to your mind when you seen these images in the beginning? Are you in search of the Red Cross? 500 million in Haiti relief. Someone said it was over $3 billion. Someone said it was over $3 billion. Somebody came out and said that. But right here, that's going to tell you 500 million. But still in all, let's look at it for what it's worth. Where's that money at? That place still destroyed.
That happened 10 years ago.
Man, that money's gone. But here's the thing. The Haitian people, which they ever so poor and everything else, these people have been making dirt cookies and all kind of stuff, living in the worst everything. Where are they getting bullets for guns? Where are they getting guns? You can barely eat. Where are they getting bullets for guns? Who's making that? But you can't make food? Y'all don't realize destabilization when you see it, man. Some of y'all are in the childlike mind. How is it in the world these people got guns, man? AKs, silencers on them joints, bullets. Where they getting this from?
It's being set there.
Yeah, you can't eat, but you can make a cocktail bomb?
That stuff is being placed there for them to destroy themselves.
Exactly.
It's the same thing they do here in the hood. You notice something? How does people in the hood get these guns? Because what happens to people that have access to this stuff sets it in the hood, and then they sit the same thing they're doing here because they know it's poverty stricken. Right. I mean, nobody's stupid. We already know what they're doing.
Kids can't eat, but yet you have guns and bullets. But this goes back to what we're reading here, y'all, because we can't go out to war. They fighting each other. There's propaganda going on. They mentioning somebody, that they call barbecue, who supposed to be fighting against the government, but fighting against the hood, and they fighting against themselves, and every single thing is just propaganda. All it takes is one evil seed. Hey, this person did that. Let me throw here's I'll give you, because you poor, I'll give you $1,000 US or whatever, equivalent in Haiti, to throw this right here and say, when you throw it, say barbecue. That's how you start the battles within, because what's going to ultimately happen is what they want. Haiti has been an uprising since slavery. They're the only people who was able to fight off and do. They are very resourceful. That's the Levites. But the point is, they're in super madness, because when you watch that whole program, you see Christianity all through there. People wearing crosses, kissing white man Jesus. Got Catholicism heavily over there. You can't war with the establishment when everything inside the establishment is already wicked. How can that work? Let's read on.
The book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 18. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore.
Come on.
And were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground.
Cast to the ground. Come on.
And their cities were taken by the enemies.
All right. That's why you see so much chaos over there right now. You don't think the Most High, and then the politicians is mad because statements is being made about Israel.
Exactly.
Truth statements.
Yep.
Come on.
Verse 19, but now are they returned to their God.
But in this time, the Israelites had some sense because periodically when you read in the book, we return to the Most High after the Most High start guillotining us and making us go into supreme judgments. Then we start waking up like now. People are starting to wake up now. They're going, oh, wait a minute. Nope. They're killing us in the churches. They're killing us on the streets. They're killing us in our homes. Everywhere we go, we see violence. It's our own people doing it. It's other people doing it. We're endangered. They're starting to see it. So what happens is now it's making sense. That's why we're getting all the influx of people reaching out and saying, hey, we want to learn. We want to see it. We see it. That's all praises to the Most High. But look what it took.
Yep.
Read on.
But now are they returned to their God and are come up from the places where they were scattered.
Come on.
And have possessed Jerusalem.
Uh-oh, come on.
Where their sanctuary is.
Come on.
And are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
Come on.
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So if we got the error right now, the error is we in Christianity, we in all type of doctrines. We believe that we can live it up until the last breath and then say, God, forgive me. You believe that the mercy of God is just upon you. And meanwhile, everybody's getting killed in the street. That's authorized by God. So you have a lot of things that within our nation that we're looking at it that's shattering us into pieces. It starts with our mind. Come on.
Verse 21, but if there be no iniquity in their nation.
But if we now, in the spirit of truth, in the spirit of Christ, return back, escape willful sin, there be no iniquity. Come on.
Let my Lord now pass by.
You better pass by them. Come on.
Lest their Lord defend them.
Come on.
And their God be for them. And we become a reproach before all the world.
Come on.
And when Achor had finished these sayings, all the people standing round about the tent murmured, and the chief men of Hephanes, and all that dwellers by the seaside, and in Moab.
Chinese man, come on.
Spake that he should kill him.
They say you should kill him. Why? Come on.
For say they, we will not be afraid of the face of the children of Israel.
Like they're peons. We can't be afraid of them. That's how they look upon you. Come on.
For lo, it is a people that have no strength.
It's a what?
It is a people that have no strength.
They have no strength. You're witnessing that. Come on.
Nor power.
Nor power. Come on.
For a strong battle.
For a strong battle. Come on.
Now therefore, Lord, Holofernes, we will go up, and they shall be a prey to be devoured for all thine army.
You hear that?
I got a precept. Okay, we're going to be a prey, right? But here's a future prophecy, though. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 16. They're basically going to devour. They want to devour us, right?
They say we're going to be a prey.
We're going to be a prey, right? This right here should be like music to our ears on this particular scripture. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 16.
You may read 14.
We can do
start verse 14.
Okay, all right. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 14. All thy lovers have forgotten thee.
You've been partakers with everybody's civilization, but they watched you go into captivity, be ceased, and they watching you now be grinded to powder, and they saying anything.
Right.
Oh, don't forget, we were in China too. We have people right now in China from the Tang Dynasty. Okay, that they were in subjection to the Chinese man right now. Come on.
They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy.
Come on.
With chastisement of a cruel one. For the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction?
Why criest thou for thy affliction? Come on.
Thy sorrow is incurable.
It's incurable. Come on.
For the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee.
Process of elimination. If you decrease the sins, come on.
Verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them,
Every one of them. Come on.
shall go into captivity.
Oh, that's music to our ears. Come on.
And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee I will give for a prey.
Righteous judgment.
Verse 17, though. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they callest thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Think about that.
Yeah, who's seeking after us to say redeem them?
Nobody. They want to keep
What
us
nation is
destroyed.
doing that? They keeping us destroyed and locked down. All right. But when you start to look at it spiritually, it's a setup. Psalms 2. We're just showing y'all a glimpse. They have their setups. They have their where they processing and building and putting things together. All that money that was given to Haiti is nothing. We could raise that money and easily. This is the salute for anybody that's Haitian out there. I mean, for our people. If you had a righteous person over there, it would be a couple things you could do. Number one, what I would do is put a decree out. If you get caught with a gun, the judgment is death. Dang, oh, you harsh. Harsh times, the judgment gotta rise. If you get caught with a weapon, it's done. Now I'm gonna put a ban on weaponry and everything else. That's done. Then I'm taking portions of that whole area and bulldozing it. You got areas that was just ran down and bombed and houses destroyed. Give me the bulldozers. We're gonna clean that area out. We're gonna clear it all the way out. We can rebuild it. Streets and everything got to get rebuilt. And then we put in God's laws. How you gonna now subvert us? Because now we're forcing it upon you. You're already getting forced with everything else. You can easily fix that situation. Judgment rise up. Don't nobody should be having a gun. That's right. You know, you can put that all the way to rest. You know, even from the military and the people that's governing that little small area, won't you give them some what do they call them Globatons or less lethals? It's very easy and very simple. All right, but you can never implement anything because they got destabilization going on. Psalms 2, verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 1. Why do the heathen rage?
Why do the heathen rage then? Why does the heathen rage? Come on.
And the people imagine a vain thing.
And the people imagine a vain thing. Lies. Come on.
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together.
To do what?
Against the Lord.
That's who you're going to realize who's against. The primary person they're against is the Lord. Come on.
And against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder.
Let us break their bands asunder. Come on.
And cast away their cords from us.
And that's the thing. Keep us separated. Keep us fighting each other. Mm-hmm. Keep the woman hating her husband. Yep. Keep the husband wanting to find love and being a whoremonger. Keep the child disobedient to the parents. Keep the people looking at dancing and singing as the highlight of their lives. Mm-hmm. Instead of looking at the attributes of integrity, coming back to what the Most High said, learning something else. We need people who are going to be doctors. We need to raise the kids up as engineers. All kind of stuff have to happen. All right. All praises to the Most High when the Lord returns the skill set will be placed in you, just like it happened with Bezalel. So we will have the skill sets, but they're gonna have to build.
That's right.
You know what I mean, so we would understand how we need to build, but they're getting instructed to do it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Weren't we instructed? Aren't we still being instructed?
Exactly.
That's payback.
Luke 18, verse 1. For you new brothers and sisters, we got you. You're just learning, but understand it seems harsh. It seems like really like, wow, what are these guys saying? But no, it's what is God saying. Right. We need to return back to his judgments. Right. All right, his statutes and his commandments in the faith of Christ. All right. Now watch what the Lord says. Come on, Luke 18, verse 1.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 18 and verse 1. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint.
That's so we need to send up prayers to the Most High. We got to be consistent. We can't faint because these curses, these calamities that's happening to our people has been happening a very long time. And we need to stay diligent. We need to consistently send up prayers to the Most High. Right. But we need to actually start actions. Things start to have to happen. All right. Come on.
Verse 2, saying, there was in a city a judge, which feared not God, neither regarded man. Mm-hmm. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary.
Come on.
And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man.
This is somebody wicked. Though I fear not God, nor regard man. Come on.
Yet because this widow troubleth me.
Yet because she keep coming to me. Come on.
I will avenge her.
I'm going to have to do something because she keep bothering me. Why are we not bothering the Lord continually? Come on.
Lest by her continual coming she weary me.
Come on.
And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith.
Hear what the unjust judge saith. Because she keeps coming, he got to do something. This is how we got to keep forcing it, our issue, constantly sending up prayers to the Most High to deliver us of our adversaries, to put Israel back in their right spot. Read.
Verse 7, and shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him?
Come on.
Though he bear long with them.
Though it seemed like it taking some time, though he bear long with us. Come on.
I tell you.
This is what Christ said. Read.
That he will avenge them.
He's saying that God is going to avenge the elect. Read.
Speedily.
Speedily. It's not going to be a long time. We just got to get ourselves together. That's the mercy. Read.
Nevertheless.
God's going to avenge of our adversaries. He's going to destroy the Israelites' enemies. Nevertheless, read.
When the Son of Man cometh.
When he comes, read.
Shall he find faith on the earth?
Shall he find faith on the earth? If somebody going to go to the Lord, Lord, you so harsh. Oh, heck no. Lord, why come, could you have spared them? He's showing you, shall he find faith on the earth? If somebody going to believe in the process when the Lord comes. Because when he comes, he's not going to meet thee as a man. And he's not taking no shortcuts. Righteous judgment will be going out upon the face of the earth. The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29.
The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
We got to obey the Most High rather than man. We have to start actually putting our bricks in to help the nation. All right. This nation who is not desired. We got to start coming together. Y'all continue to bear with us when the information release, especially for you Israelite men. You better get ready, man, because we're not just saying those who know the truth. We calling everybody in. All right. We need to have a man-to-man discussion face to face. That's the way it is. All praises to the Most High in Christ. All right. You folks make sure you hit the website, IsraeliteSaintsOfChrist.org. All right. Stay up to date on what's going on. Join the force. Okay. But all praises to the Most High. You folks, you got to remember, we all we got.
We're all we got, Israel.
Make sure you keep integrity, respect, honor. All right. And more importantly, overall, make sure you honor the Most High in Christ
Yeah.
with everything you got.
That's right.
With that, we saying shalom, y'all.
Shalom.